On my tribe, third all together.
All right, everyone. We are here with the third boot of the season, Mr. Cory. How are you feeling?
um, yeah, I'd be laughing if I were you too. You watch that shit show happen. I mean, I'm all right.
Um, so let's talk about your boot. You were blindsided, theoretically. In your eyes, you were blindsided, but people were hinting at you that like your name's out there, you gotta do something. Um, so let's talk about that round. Like, what was your process? You felt comfortable in the beginning, but you were then scrambling at the end.
Uh, your boy got survivor confident. To steal Omer's, phrase. Um, I mean, Chantel came at me with an alliance, and I had 5 votes, and there were only 8 people on the tribe. So I was feeling like I was sitting pretty. And then I had Jess, who was also there. So in reality, it should have been a 6-2, if anything. But instead it was a 5-3
So
for
like,
me.
do you think aside from being very confident, like, do you think like there was a way to even make sure the votes were on someone else, or was it too late by the time you actually started hearing your name come up?
I mean, by the time, if I remember correctly, I mean, by the time that, the table started to turn, I think we were an hour away from the pit. So I mean, at that point, I was sitting there going, he doesn't have enough time to twist the votes. But apparently I was wrong.
So during that round, we saw production saw that you were trying to get the votes on David. Obviously, in the beginning, you had that survivor confidence that you had the votes for David to go.
I was
Why
trying to get
David?
David since the first round. The main thing that I have against David is the level of inactivity. He was there on the Friday that we started, and then he was completely MIA for Saturday and did nothing and submitted nothing for the challenge on Sunday. So like completely MIA. And then he jumped back in and I think might have sent me all of 2 messages. So it's like maybe he was talking to other people. Apparently, he was talking to other people, but I mean, I hadn't heard from him in. I think the message was on Tuesday, and the vote was on Friday. So what is that? That's 4 days that I had zero communication with him. I mean, the last message was sent from me, so it's like ball's kind of in your court, buddy. So that was kind of it. And then the first time we went to tribal, I wanted him to go only because Zach was at least there, but I was also gonna go with the flow with the tribe because I didn't want to rock the boat yet. And it was assured to me that okay, Zach this time, and then the next vote we have will be David, and here I am.
Okay. So for the viewers, we are doing this again because I lost the footage. So let's talk about
Yeah,
information
having to
you
relive
already
this twice is great.
having to do this again and now knowing information since we are now at the merge. What are your thoughts on David actually making it to the merge?
A fucker has 9 goddamn lives. I don't know how he is still in there. Um, Knowing what I know now, he's still up to his old antics. So, I mean, personally, my opinion, the game that he's played, I at this point would want to bring him to the final 2 or final 3, however you guys are going to do it at the end, because what has he done? I have a better case against him at this point. So it's at this point, I feel like he's going to go far because he's going to be that one that you can sit there and say he did nothing the entire game.
Okay.
No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. Like, sorry about your bad luck. That's the game that you've played.
So was there anything you think in your game you could have done differently, or do you think you're proud of the game you played?
Um, well, I mean, so looking back on it now that it's been what a week since I was booted. I mean, looking back on it, I don't know. I can't necessarily say where I went wrong because I've been talking to me and Jen actually talked about it just last night, and that the only thing that I can think is I had a super strong, social game going, and then right there at the end, I definitely she used the word confident. I mean, I definitely was confident. So I was telling people, feed into David because you don't know whether or not he has an idol, so feed into him that you're going to go with him and all of this. That way, coming into the vote, if he has an idol, he doesn't use it because he feels safe. And I guess some people took that as, confident, arrogant, whatever you want to call it. And so, but I don't know exactly what I could do to change that in like a future game because again, where I was sitting, I had the votes, or at least so I thought. Again, who has a 5-person alliance plus one person on the side, and then an hour before tribal is being told, "Hey, buddy, your name's floating out there by David." Of course, I'm going to sit there and go, "Okay, well, fucking let him think that. Go ahead and tell him what he wants to hear." Because I've got 6 votes against the dude wrapped up. Hindsight is 2020, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. 2 more questions. I know last time I said there's how many questions? There was more questions coming up.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Every time
But
you're like, last question. Oh well, just kidding. Last question.
but if you had returned, which there's a there's a chance, not in this season, but obviously in a future season, if you came back for another season, would you play the same game you played in this season, or are you going to change something up?
Um. Well, see, I thought I was playing a really good game, but apparently I wasn't. So I guess the only thing that I would really change up is to watch my back more, I guess. And listen, I survivor confidence is the number one killer in this game. So, just completely that out of the head, never assume that anything's a sure deal until the vote. But I mean, but I don't even know again where I was in that game. I felt that I was in a comfortable position. I was got good relationships with everybody, which I guess the strategy is to be less social. Like I'm not sure. I would probably have a similar strategy. Definitely not the same strategy, but it wouldn't be too different.
And last question.
Do you mean it?
Yes, I do this time. Um, any final words or advice you would give someone who would play a future season of Inferno?
Don't get survivor confident. No, well, yes, but I mean, this is a game full of liars and deceivers. So I mean, I definitely think that maintaining that part in your brain at all times, it would definitely be the advice. You're going into the lion's den. Don't pretend these people are your friends,
Okay.
even though they are very nice half the time.
Um, before we end,
Oh, last
do you?
question.
No. Before we end, is there anything you'd like to say? Is there anyone that you're rooting for before we stop the recording?
I'm not really well, aside from David. I mean, I think everybody from what I can see now in the VL is playing a really good game. I don't necessarily have any favorites per se. I definitely hope that Jess and Kev go far. But I might be a little bit biased in that because they're the only people who were actually truthful to me come the vote to get me out. So I definitely hope that they go far, but I don't really have any ill will towards any of them, minus David. And I hope that they all go far, and whoever wins deserves it at this point.
Okay. With that being said, thank you, Cory. 13th place, third boot of the season. I'm gonna stop the